as this woman. There's no one who notices me, but can I tell you this morning, the Lord absolutely sees you where you are. No matter what you're going through today, no matter what you're facing, no matter what the future may hold for you, the Lord sees you where you are. I know there are so many other people who have less problems and more problems. There are so many people that are dealing with things that are great and things that are small. And you may seem as though, you know what, Lord, do you see me? If he could see a poor widow on a busy day dropping just 2 small coins, the smallest coins that they would have, a widow's mite, just the smallest thing that they could have, if he could see that woman, then he can see you.
Amen.
He knows exactly where you are. He knows exactly what you go through. He knows the struggles in your family, at your job, with your worries, with your doubts, with your future, with your past. He sees all of that. He sees you and he knows what you do. I'm trading my sorrows. I'm trading my shame. And I'm laying them down for the joy of the Lord. And I'm trading my sickness. And I'm trading my pain. And I'm laying them down for the joy of the Lord. Yes, Lord, yes, Lord, yes, yes, Lord. Yes, Lord, yes, Lord, yes, yes, Lord. Yes, Lord, yes, Lord, yes, yes, Lord.
Welcome to Westside Emmanuel Baptist Church, the church that loves God and loves people. We're in the heart of Bogalusa with Bogalusa on our heart. We look forward to you joining us in person sometime soon as we worship the Lord together.
My God is awesome. He can move a mountain, keep me in the valley, hide me from the rain. My God is awesome, heals me when I'm broken, strength where I've been weak. you take, the steps you make that make you who you are. It's the life you live, the gifts you give, the love that's in your heart. Just try to do the best you can to be a better man. You don't have to walk on water. It's how you walk on land. It's the path you take, the steps you make that make you who you are. It's the life you live, the gifts you give, the love that's in your heart. Just try to do the best you can to be a better man. You don't have to walk on water, for it's how you walk on land. You don't have to walk on water. It's how you walk on. You'll see on the screen this morning, even on the front of your bulletin, there is a picture of a guy, and you'll notice that there's one guy with hair in the bottom picture. That was an old picture of myself back in the day. But the guy that's in this picture, his name is Coleman Nichols. Some of y'all may have met Coleman before. Some of y'all, this may be the first day that you've ever been introduced to Coleman. It was the year 2000. I was in seminary down in New Orleans. I was living in Franklinton. And as I was there, I went to seminary, and my very first class was a class on Introduction to Ministry. Some of y'all remember Dr. Jerry Barlow. Well, he was my teacher during those times. And so here I was in this class, and I just began to, it was my first semester there in seminary, learning how to be a preacher and just understanding the things that seminary begins to teach you. And so all of a sudden I met this dude, and this guy, who's about 250 pounds, about 6'2". I mean, a big guy. And so here he is. He's from Mississippi. He's got that cool accent thing going on. And all of a sudden we have a class presentation. I'm in seminary. I'm with guys who are theologians. I'm with guys who are reading things that'll just blow your mind. And all of a sudden, this guy comes in the classroom, and during this presentation, he gets this thing, and he's made it out of corrugated paper. He makes these bug wings about this tall, and he puts them on his back, and begins to flutter around. He has little antennas on his head, and he's giving a presentation on if you were a fly on the wall when you heard one of the great apostles begin to write down the things that they wrote. I'm like, who is this guy who's got, big fly things on the back of his shoulders, who's got antennas on his ears, and he's teaching us and preaching about theology by being a fly on the wall. So that began a relationship, and year after year, sometimes he was in Mississippi, he moved to Paris, Tennessee one time, and all the different places that he went to, I just kind of followed his family. We'd do things together, we'd minister together, we would be together. He was truly one of my very, very best friends. He was a guy that I loved and appreciated, and just spent years of ministry together. And then on October 31st, a lot of you remember October 31st, that is the celebration of what? Halloween. All right, or All Hallows Eve, if we are the Christian version of that. And so it's Halloween, and so all of a sudden on 10/31 of 2011, I get a message that says Coleman had passed away. He had been in his house, and all of a sudden he just collapsed while he was there in the house. They took him to Forest General. He was serving as the minister of youth there at First Baptist Church of Summerall, and then he went to Forest General, and there in Forest General he ended up passing away. And I was just minding my own business this past Father's Day. I was just getting through the day, and as I got through the day, I just began to scroll through some Instagram posts of friends of mine, and all of a sudden his youngest daughter gives a picture, and you'll see the picture on the screen. The youngest daughter gives a picture of a letter that her dad had wrote to the 3 kids. He's got 3 kids. He's got 2 that are twins, and then the oldest one is Caitlin, Colton, and Sienna. And so all of a sudden Sienna had written this post, and this is what her dad wrote to the 3 kids one day. He said these words: "I don't want you to look at me, but at the cross of Christ. For it is with him you will find eternal salvation. Now hold my hand as we face the cross. Love, Dad." So here's a letter that he had written to his girls and to his boy all of a sudden before he passed away. And this is what Sienna wrote. She said, "Here's a portion of a letter my dad wrote to my sibs and I that perfectly displays the way his life was lived. always there to hold our hands, dance in the kitchen, laugh until it hurt, and fully invested in those around him, while always pointing us to the cross with servant leadership. Happy Father's Day to the man who first showed me the love of my Father. Forever, Father. Miss you more every day. CM. I was just minding my own business on Father's Day. I was just going through the day, and then all of a sudden, I come across this. And I've seen them babies grow since they were just little bitty kids, and all of a sudden, here they are, and one serving at big stuff in Panama City where she's serving the Lord, and they've been to different places like Ecuador, and they've been to different places where they've served together as a family in Greece, and things that have gone on. But all of a sudden, I began to read this little precious girl's story about her father, and all I could think about on that Father's Day was this word, legacy. Legacy. To leave something behind that is an investment into your children's life and the life of generations to come that just simply makes a difference. Something that outlasts you. Something that matters in life that is bigger than yourself. And so if you turn in your Bible to Mark chapter 12, I want to look at a woman who leaves a legacy behind. But it is not because of how important she is. It's not because of how great she is. It's not because of all the great things that she did. The reason why she left a legacy behind, and we are going to talk about her today, is because of what she did unto Jesus. And what she did for Jesus lasted forever. And so Mark chapter 12. When you find that and honor the Lord and His Word, would you stand with me this morning? Let me kind of paint a picture for you. The temple in Jerusalem where this took place was one of the busiest places that you would ever go to. I know some of you men who hate to stand in line, you don't like crowds of people around you. Jerusalem would not have been the place that you would have enjoyed. Because there were people that were traveling, there were people who were pilgrims, who all came to Jerusalem year after year. And in Jerusalem they had all these sacrifices that would take place, so you would hear the sounds of animals, of sheep and goats that were just all throughout. You'd see pigeons flying, you'd see all kinds of craziness and activity in Jerusalem. Around the temple of Jerusalem, there were 13 gold trumpets. And what you would do is when you came to bring an offering, it's like at VBS. And all the kids would have their bags and stuff, and then they would drop them into the big bucket like at VBS. Well, they would do kind of a similar thing. People would bring their gifts, they would bring their giving, and they would take these huge trumpets, and then they would throw their gifts, their offering, into these trumpets. And when you'd hear that clanging sound day after day, above the noise of the goats and the sheep and the people and the pilgrims, you'd hear this clanging sound day after day of these people who are bringing their offering. And so Mark chapter 12, starting verse 41, gives us the story of this woman. Now Jesus sat opposite the treasury and saw how the people put money into the treasury, and many who were rich put in much. Verse 42. And then one poor widow came and threw in 2 mites, or your version may say 2 small coins, which makes a quadrans. And so he called his disciples to himself, and he said to them, Assuredly I say to you, that this poor widow has put in more than all those who have given to the treasury. For they all put in out of their abundance, but she out of her poverty put in all that she had, her whole livelihood. Father, today, as I think about my beloved friend who is with you, as I think about this woman here who we've read about this morning, as I think about my own life, wondering what kind of legacy that will outlast me, what will they say because of how I lived and how I loved you. Father, may we all have a legacy-minded spirit today in Jesus' name. Amen. Amen. Go ahead and be seated today. It's amazing to me what this woman did. Here she is. She gave out of her poverty. She gave the most that she could. She gave everything. I don't know if you've ever seen a picture of this guy. Coleman and I actually learned about him in seminary. This guy's name is Jonathan Edwards. I don't know if you've ever heard of Jonathan Edwards. If you want to read some really good stuff, he was alive in the 1700s, and Jonathan Edwards was a great preacher of the Word of God. He was a brilliant man as well. At the age of 12, he entered into Yale University. Can you imagine? At 12 years old. Now, at 12 years old, I was probably still trying to learn to ride a bicycle and stuff. But, here this guy is. He goes into Yale University at 12 years old. And they did a study one time about Jonathan Edwards. He was married to a woman by the name of Sarah. And Sarah was his inspiration. She loved Jesus with all of her heart. She was a woman of God. And so they had an amazing relationship. Some of you may have heard this thing called Sinners in the Hands of an Angry God. It is one of those famous sermons that has ever been. You can look it up on Wikipedia or whatever and see the whole sermon listed. But Jonathan Edwards preached this sermon, and the Bible, not Bible, but historians actually say that when he preached it, that people began to hold on to their pews because they just imagined that the bottom would drop out and that they would be engulfed by hell because of this sermon that he was preaching about the sinners in the hands of an angry God. It's an amazing sermon, but they did a study of his legacy, of his descendants of Jonathan Edwards. And some of the folks that began to look at it, you'll see it on the screen, 100 lawyers are part of his legacy, a dean of a law school, 80 holders of public office, 66 physicians, a dean of a medical school, 65 professors of colleges and universities, 30 judges, 13 college presidents, 3 mayors of large cities, 3 governors, 3 U.S. senators, a vice president of the United States. And so as they began to look over his lineage of his legacy, of his heritage, they began to realize, that this man and his wife, they just had all of these who were used in a great and mighty way. Now, I know for some of you, you're just glad your kids made it out of kindergarten. I mean, so to think about this whole legacy idea of this man of God, but here he was, he loved the Lord, and he left a legacy behind. And that's what we see with this woman. This woman was insignificant. This woman was one who was a widow, and a woman, and most widows would be a woman, but a woman at that time definitely didn't have a lot of rights. But then as a widow, she was there to fend for herself. She had, she was definitely poor. She was stricken by poverty over and over again. She was somebody who was unnoticed, who was struggling, who really didn't make much difference in the world and had nothing to offer. And I tell you, I've been here as your pastor for about 13 years now. And I've met day after day a lot of folks who feel the same way as this woman. They may not be poor or destitute or just have a couple of coins in their pocket, but they definitely know what it's like to feel insignificant. To feel as though, I'm struggling in life to do what I need to do. It just seems as though I feel overcome. It just seems as though I am burdened. It just seems as though the things in my life are too heavy upon me. This is what this woman went through day after day. I don't have much to offer. I'm not sure how significant my life is. I'm not sure what kind of legacy I will leave. I struggle with my self-worth, with my identity. I go through identity crisis of who I am and what do I do and all those things. Well, we ask ourselves sometimes this question, does my life count? Will my life count? What kind of a legacy will I leave? Does it even matter? If you begin to look at verse 42 in your Bible, you'll notice some things about this woman that Jesus noticed. It says that there, Jesus noticed a poor widow. She came, she threw in 2 mites. In verse 43, it says that this poor widow is more than all, she gave more than all of those. In verse 44, she out of her poverty put in all that she had. There are a lot of folks who didn't notice her. There are a lot of folks who didn't care about her. There are a lot of folks where she was abandoned and left all alone. A lot of folks didn't realize all the things that she was going through day after day. But yet, in the middle of a crowded city, in the middle of all the noise of Jerusalem with the sheep and the goats and the birds flying around, in the middle of all of the hustle and bustle where people were coming in, and the rich would throw all these huge coins and all this money into that trumpet, and it would make all of that noise, clang, 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 over and over and over again. Everyone else noticed the big dogs, but no one noticed this one poor widow except for Jesus. Jesus saw her, even though she only had 2 cents, even though it didn't make much noise. Jesus saw who she was, and Jesus saw what she did. He saw her condition, he knew her past, he knew all that she struggled with, and he also saw the sacrifice that she was willing to give unto the Lord. Can I tell you this morning, the Lord absolutely, positively, 100% sees you where you are. In the middle of your struggle, in the middle of your pain, in the middle of your insignificance, in the middle of the things that you go through in life, you may only feel like, in my life, I only have 2 cents worth of value. I only have 2 cents worth of things to offer to the world. I only have 2 cents of legacy. I'm not looking at Jonathan Edwards thinking my kids will do this great thing, that great thing. No, I just feel just as worthless as this woman. There is no one who notices me, but can I tell you this morning, the Lord absolutely sees you where you are. No matter what you're going through today, no matter what you're facing, no matter what the future may hold for you, the Lord sees you where you are. I know there are so many other people who have less problems and more problems. There are so many people that are dealing with things that are great and things that are small. And you may seem as though, Lord, do you see me? If he could see a poor widow on a busy day dropping just 2 small coins, the smallest coins that they would have, a widow's mite, just the smallest thing that they could have, if he could see that woman, then He can see you.
Amen.
He knows exactly where you are. He knows exactly what you go through. He knows the struggles in your family, at your job, with your worries, with your doubts, with your future, with your past. He sees all of that. He sees you and He knows what you do. Coleman lived 42 years of his life. 42 years. Some of us are way past 42, like myself. Just way past 42. Now, some folks aren't even close to 42, like Brother Whalen, who had a birthday yesterday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to God. But in the middle of those that we experience in life, whether it's you're the youngest or the oldest, here Coleman lived just 42 years. And Mike could probably testify to this. He's over there making food and stuff. But he could probably testify that, Coleman wasn't the greatest speaker. If you listen to him, it wasn't like, man, that's the greatest thing that ever happened. And he really wasn't the greatest theologian. I mean, he came to class wearing bug antenna and a bug fly thing on his back, with the wings. He wasn't the greatest speaker or theologian or anything like that. But man, that dude just loved Jesus. He loved Jesus with all his heart. He was all in for Jesus. He had a heart for God. And so this year, something that his oldest daughter, Caitlin, wrote about 2 years ago. She said, wow, 5 years already, and to be held by you again would be so great. Thank you so much for showing me the love of Christ and how to live a life full of Him. I'm happy to know someday I'll get to see you again and be able to dance and sing with you in heaven. Can't come soon enough. I miss you big time and love you lots, Daddy-O, XOXO. He didn't have a whole lot of money. He didn't have the greatest, I guarantee you I made better grades than he did. I mean, I'm just saying 3.86, and Lark, that's pretty good, right? That's good. It was good for Hawaii, with public school training. Okay, so it was good for me. But here I was in the middle of this thing, and so I'm there, and and all of a sudden, when I thought about the life that he lived, he didn't have a lot to offer, he didn't have the greatest money, but man, he just loved Jesus, and because he loved Jesus, it gave a legacy. God saw who he was and what he did, and his life matters. And that's what I love about this story about this widow, is that no one else noticed this woman. She was insignificant, worthless, and didn't have a lot to offer, but Jesus saw her. He didn't pass her by like so many others did. He saw her exactly where she was, and she had Jesus' attention. If you look at verse 44, it says that she put in all that she had. That caught the attention of Jesus Christ. Who she was and what she did, it caught the attention of God today. And she gave her 2 cents worth. She gave all that she had to give, and it was her very best. And we often say that phrase, don't we? Let me give you my 2 cents worth. You ever heard somebody say that? They say, let me give you my 2 cents worth, and then they give you whatever opinion that they want to give you, and then kind of let you have it. But I just want to give you my 2 cents worth. Can I give you, as your pastor, my 2 cents worth this morning? And my 2 cents worth this morning is that, we need here in this church some folks who would be willing to live their life like this widow did, and would be willing to give all of their lives to Jesus and leave a legacy behind. I need you to know, as your pastor, we have a lot of folks that are faithful in giving. We have a lot of folks that are willing to give. If we had gold trumpets up here, or kind of like they do at Faith Tabernacle, they got they got some things over there. Jerry Cox, he's got his own way of giving and stuff. Or if we were a missionary Baptist church, you could come and you could bring your offering, and we have one for the church, and then we have one for the building. We'd have one for the preacher and stuff. Some of y'all have been to missionary Baptist churches, so you know how that whole offering deal works as well. We got some gold trumpets up here, and every Sunday morning, Brother Wade will sing some kind of song like Jesus paid it all, and you better pay it all as well. And so we could have these trumpets there, and you could throw your money in there, and everybody could like clang clang and all that kind of stuff. That's not how we do it. We don't usually talk about money, but we have some folks who are extremely faithful in their giving, and we're so thankful for that. Believe me, the lights wouldn't be on, the preacher would be preaching, music and all that kind of stuff. You wouldn't have air. It's not too cold today. I see some of y'all are fanning and stuff. I see you're a fan. But all this would be possible through folks' giving. But I want to talk about something even greater than 2 coins into a gold trumpet this morning. I want to talk about your legacy. I want to talk about something that outlasts you, that is greater than the money, or it's greater than this or greater than that. I'm talking about something that outlasts you, that is talked about forever and ever and ever. That you might actually live your life in a way that would get Jesus' attention. That would put your attention, that Jesus would say, look at how they lived, and look at what they did, and look at the way that they loved me and served me. We need some folks who are just simply willing to give their all to Jesus. Now, let me give you my 2 cents worth and get kind of specific for a moment. If you're a deacon here today, could you just kind of raise your hand just real fast and say, thank y'all, men of God, for your service. You have been appointed and called by the Lord to serve here at this church. The Lord has given a calling. And I guarantee you, we are still waiting and looking for some young men who would stand up and say, you know what, I believe the Lord is working in my life and calling my life. I want to tell you this morning, if you are a deacon here this morning, because of issues in my own life and things that I've had to work through, I have not been the kind of leader that you should really have. To where, you know what, that you're stepping out and you're saying, you know what, I take this seriously, being a deacon, that I want to love the Lord, and I want to love the church family. I want to make sure that I'm ministering to those folks, that I'm leading as a deacon here in the church family. But I guarantee you, if you look at your own life, deacon, men of God, would you say to yourself, you know what, I am like this woman, I am totally committed, I have given all of myself to Jesus Christ? Or would you look at your life and say, you know what, there are areas of my life that I am not 100% all in. There are areas of my life that I'm not serving the Lord as I should. I guarantee you, it is my fault as a leader, but when you look at your own life, are you saying to yourself, you know what, I'm just loving Jesus with all of my heart, with all of my soul, with all of my strength? That's just my 2 cents worth. Can I talk to some of you who are fathers, especially some of you who are fathers of young children? Can I ask you this morning, are you living your life in a way that they look at you and say, you know what, my daddy, he loves Jesus. I want to be just like my daddy when it comes to serving the Lord. I want to just follow the Lord because I want to follow my daddy. I want to be just like my daddy. He loves Jesus. He loves Jesus' word. He loves being in the things of God. I just want to be like my daddy. Why? Because I want to leave a legacy of faith. Men of God, fathers, you've been called in that way to say, you know what, I want to love Jesus. These little ones, I am responsible for them, and I need to live my life in such a way that I'm like this woman who's willing to give everything. Even if you're not a father, even if you're just a husband, are you leading your spouse? Are you leading your family? Are you leading those who are around you to be people of God? See, that's just my 2 cents worth. Women of God here in this place, can I ask you, how close are you to Jesus? Are you serving him like Mary and Martha, where you just not only have a heart for God, but you have hands for God as well? Are you in love with the Lord? Are you just serving Jesus Christ with all of your heart, with everything that you have? Are you all in for Jesus? Are you like this widow who's wanting to say, I don't have a lot, I may be insignificant to others, I don't have a lot to offer, but I'm just willing to give everything that I have to Jesus, to just lay my life down at the altar, just say, I give it all up to Jesus. Give it everything to him. Even as a Sunday school teacher, I'm going to give everything to him. I know that I might not have the greatest class and the most people, but I'm going to serve the Lord to give everything to him. I know that things are struggling in life. I'm just going to give everything to him. I'm going to share Jesus with those people I see. I'm going to live my life. I'm going to give my time and my finances. I'm going to give everything to Jesus. So are you like this woman today, who is just willing to give all of her 2 cents? Now, I'm sure you're thinking, preacher, I wish you wouldn't give me your 2 cents, because that's not what I came for this morning. But I guarantee you, if we want to be recognized by Jesus, noticed by Jesus, and live a legacy of faith, and you've got to do like this woman and say, I'm going to give everything I have and just give it as unto the Lord. If you don't, deacon men of God, if you don't, women of God of this church, if you don't give all of yourself unto the Lord and in service to his church and to this community, if you don't, where will we be at in 10 years? Where will we be at in 20 years? Where will we be at in 30 years? See, I wonder sometimes, we know the issues that Bogalusa has. We understand the problems that are going on in our community. We know that, when it looks at the life of the community, this may not be a thriving community, but there are still people here who need Jesus. There are still people here who do not know him. There are still people here who just need the life-changing resurrection power of Jesus Christ. And that could change their lives. It could change their addictions. It could change their relationship issues. It could change their attitude and outlook at life if they just learn to love Jesus. So the harvest is plentiful, but the workers are what is needed for the Lord to continue His work. And I was praying even last night. I was just praying to the Lord. I said, Lord, would you give us just two? Just two? I mean, here's this woman who said, you know what, I'm going to give just these 2 coins. It is all that I have. Her whole livelihood was wrapped up in those 2 coins. Everything that she owned was wrapped up in those 2 coins, and she was willing to give it and surrender to Jesus. And so those 2 mites, I said, Lord, would you might you just give us 2 folks who'd be willing to say, I'm gonna from this day forward, I'm just gonna give everything unto Jesus. I'm gonna just surrender my everything unto Him. Give all of my life just unto Jesus. Isn't it time in your own life that you just gave everything to Jesus? Isn't it time in your own life that you stop holding back and stop just saying, no, Lord, it's not about what I give you, it's about what I keep to myself. And I'm not willing to keep anything to myself. I'm willing to give it all to Jesus. All to Jesus in my family. All to Jesus at my work. All to Jesus at your church. All to Jesus, just surrendering it all, not holding anything else back. Didn't He give you His all? Didn't He give all of Himself to you? And what could we do but not give all of ourselves back to Him? What can we do but just say, Lord, you deserve everything? And it shouldn't take the preacher begging you or asking or saying, you know what, y'all ought to do this. No, you ought to say, because I love Jesus, because He gave His all to me, I'm going to give my all back to Him. And you know what would happen? If you would be willing from this day today to say, I'm going to give, I'm all in. I'm pushing my whole life on the table to say, I'm all in. I just surrender it all to Jesus. You know what happened? He would take notice of what you do. He would take notice of who you are. And that would be the beginning of a legacy in your life. Coleman, October the 11th or 31st, 2011. Last Sunday, I was just there minding my own business. And I see Sienna, who's the second to your left, write that post about her dad. And I knew that guy. I knew his love for people. I knew his encouragement in my life. I knew his goofy faces that he would make. I knew the things that he would do day after day with his kids. I knew the kind of life that he lived. And as I was scrolling through Facebook, what did it say? I don't want you to look at me, but at the cross of Christ, for it is with Him you will find eternal salvation. Now hold my hand as we face the cross. And this is what one of the girls wrote. First, I want to say Happy Father's Day and happy birthday tomorrow to the first man to have ever had my heart, my dad. I love and miss him more every single day. Secondly, Happy Father's Day to the one who created my heart and can see what I will ever become, my Heavenly Father. Through the years without having a father, I've had to look to Christ as my Father. I've leaned on Him for comfort, for strength, and for hope. One day I will see my dad again, and that is so reassuring. But without my Abba Father, I am nothing. Without Him, I am fearless. But with Him, I am fearless, beautiful, bright, cheerful. With Him is where my joy is found. I am His masterpiece. He will be with me and never leave me alone through the darkness of night. I am satisfied in Christ because He is my Father, and He is enough for me, and that is all I'll ever need. That's written from a teenage girl who for 6 years now has lived life without her father. Without the man who held her as a baby, without the man who threw snowballs at her when she was a teen, without the man who just shared Christ with her. As a teenage girl, she says, you know what? The Lord has been my Father in the times that I've had nothing else, and He is enough for me, and that is all I'll ever need. That is all I'll ever need. One of the things that Coleman had often prayed for, year after year after year, was that his boy, Colton, would give his life to Jesus. Man, he had prayed for that. Naomi would have us pray for Colton as well. And you know what? When I'd go and speak, I did a lot of preaching there at their church and stuff over the years. And then they'd always pray, you know what, let's pray for Colton this year. And before his daddy died, he never made a decision for Christ. His dad could never actually see his boy be baptized. He was never able to see his son give his life to Jesus Christ. He passed away unexpectedly before that ever happened. But over the years, it wasn't right away, but over the years, even Colton came and gave his life to Jesus Christ. And even Colton is serving the Lord now. He is an amazing kid. He scored like 30-something points the other day or last year playing basketball. I mean, he just loves the Lord, you know, a great athlete. I mean, just a great kid. You know, Caitlin, the oldest one, she's actually taller than I am. She's like 6'2.5". I mean, you know, just a tall girl, just a beautiful family. But they've only made it because of one reason, because of Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ has kept them. Jesus Christ has watched over them. Jesus Christ has been the father to the fatherless. And in the middle of all that they've gone through, here it is that they just gave everything to Jesus. And he's taken care of them financially. Even this morning, we told her, and you know, Steve had told her that I'm going to be preaching and mentioning Coleman in my sermon. And then she even, you know, said just big hugs to y'all, just huge love. And so, you know, even nowadays, but one of the things that Coleman said at the end, love Dad. His heartbeat was to give his all to Jesus and leave a legacy for his kids that they could see what he did and who he was. And even today, 6 years after his birth, or 5.5, or whatever it is now, after his death and after he'd gone home to be with the Lord, even after all of these years, these kids are loving the Lord and they're trusting him and they are all in. He could have left them $1 million and that would have been great, but that fades away. He could have left them a new house and everything else, but he had none to give. He could have left them a brand new car, but they had an old Astrovan station, or Astrovan minivan. That's all that he's able to leave that family. But in the middle of all that he left them and didn't leave them, he left them a legacy. He says, "Hold my hand as we face the cross." Friends, this morning, my desire for your life, my desire for you, where you are, is that you would just give all of your life to Jesus. That you'd be like this widow who's willing to say, you know what, I'm all in. I'm going to give every part of my life to Jesus. And if you do that, you will leave a legacy of faith for your family, for this church that desperately needs you to give all yourself to him, and for the community that is to come, because you left a legacy. What kind of legacy will you leave? What will folks remember about you? Hopefully they'll do like this woman. Well, I remember my dad. I remember my mom. I remember my papa or my mama. I remember how they just loved Jesus. And that, friends, will last forever. Would you bow your head for a moment? As our heads are bowed, as our eyes are closed, I just want to ask you this morning, are you all in for Jesus? Are you willing to give him every part of your life, or just the spare change that's in your pocket? Just the spare change that's in your life? Just the spare change of your time and of your effort and of your energy? Just the spare change to get through the week but not give everything to Jesus Christ? Today I want to ask you, does Jesus notice who you are? He does. Does Jesus notice what you're doing? He absolutely does. But will Jesus mention you to all the disciples and say, look at their sacrifice of what they gave to me?
Friends, thank you for joining us today at Westside Emmanuel Baptist Church, the church that loves God and loves people. We hope you'll be able to join us this coming Sunday at 10:30 a.m. or 6 o'clock in the evening time. Wednesdays at 6 o'clock for our prayer service, and we also have youth and children's activities as well. We look forward to seeing you. Hope to meet you in person here in Bogalusa with Bogalusa on our heart. We hope to see you soon.